Yo, what's going on, guys? It's me, Jedi. Today, we're going to look at the top 10 facts about Atlanta, Georgia that you did not know. So let's go. Number one, it's actually a really good cause. The city in a forest. So Atlanta actually holds a record for the most trees planted in the area because there's an organization called Street Trees Atlanta where it's like a nonprofit, and this basically means that they plant trees all over, and there's over 100,000 trees. So 49 or 47.9% of Atlanta is actually covered in trees, which is really cool because they're really like amazing and on top of it, and the whole Plant a Tree Foundation is also great. All these foundations are super cool. You guys should really go support them, and Trees Atlanta is probably one of the best ones because they basically covered half of Atlanta with trees. Number two basically like goes on with number one, and what it is peach trees. So there are over 71 different types of peach trees all over Atlanta, and this is really cool because they're pretty much like the peach tree city, and Atlanta has so much. And there's like all of them have different names, and like I'm not gonna get into the whole list of names, but these are really cool because peach trees are super common there, and if you want to try to plant one, you can. And they have like a lot of foundations there where you can go and you can plant it, and you could actually like plant a tree there, and you could take it and they would like give you like a certification, and they give you like the exact pinpoint where it is, and you could have that, and that would be your tree. So super cool. So if you guys ever go to Atlanta, make sure you guys go look at all the trees there and try to plant a peach tree. Next up, we have the more obvious ones, which is music. And in Atlanta, you guys we've all heard of, Ludacris, Gucci Mane, Childish Gambino. These are really popular names, and what do they all have in common? Atlanta, because they're all from Atlanta, and these guys are great and they're really popular. But Atlanta is a great place for music, and we find a lot of young artists who actually go to Atlanta just to make music. And Atlanta is really great in that, and they're like the life in the place. So they got so much music there. The music from there is really good. So next time you guys like check out one of these artists that I just mentioned, just remember they're from Atlanta. So if you're in Atlanta, talk about these artists, and because they're from there, so you're gonna feel at home when you're in Atlanta. One of the key things that Atlanta has that other cities don't have is there was a huge war that basically destroyed like 100,000 acres of Atlanta as a whole. So they're pretty much like the rising phoenix, and like they're usually symbolized by the phoenix, and that's because Atlanta's like when they were completely like wiped out, they were just ashes, and they built that great city that they have now just off of scratch, because they were basically just ashes because the war destroyed so much of it. But that is why they're the phoenix, because it really symbolizes what they had to go through to actually revive that city, and they did a great job. And they did a great job. So then now the phoenix is a great representation of Atlanta. The varsity. So the varsity, not varsity like 11th to 12th grade football and stuff like that, but varsity as in the drive-in restaurant. Varsity is actually the world's largest drive-in restaurant, and it is from Atlanta, and they serve the most Coke, which is also from Atlanta, but they serve the most Coke and of all over the world. And the varsity is the like best drive-in, voted by so many top like restaurant voters and stuff like that. So definitely, if you guys are in Atlanta, make sure you guys go to the varsity, check it out. It's amazing, and you ask locals there about the varsity, they'll definitely take you. They'll definitely hook you up. And when you're in Atlanta, make sure you guys stop by the varsity. Number 6 is the busiest airport, not JFK, New York, but in Atlanta. Hartsfield is the most. It's pretty much. There are arguments about which is the most busiest, but Hartsfield is definitely one of the top like busiest airports. Over 100 million passengers, all the time. And like if you were to go to like a flight, just like a 3-hour flight would be like would be the length of like 7 football fields. So it's huge. Like the terminals are really big. So it's a huge place, and it's definitely one of the busiest places. And going in and out of Atlanta is really hard. So when you land there, just remember that you are in the busiest airport. And if you go there, by car or bus or anything, still remember that the airport's really like crowded. It's big, so always prepare ahead if you're gonna take the plane. So if you live nearby, it's probably better to just take your car or bus or the bus, because it's gonna be a lot faster, like going in and out of the stations. Because when you go to the airport, you are guaranteed to not come out for a good 45 minutes to an hour, the least. Hollywood, Atlanta. So it sounds kind of weird, huh? Well, Atlanta is actually the third in movie production. So Atlanta is really catching up. Right now it's just LA and New York in front of them. But Atlanta's catching up, and they've done like a lot of the recent movies, so they're slowly building up the ladder. So in the list of like all the movie, like all the greatest places for movie production, Los Angeles is number one. It has like a comfortable cushion there. New York's like a good amount below it, and then we have Atlanta, which is slowly building up, and Atlanta's going to catch New York, and they're predicting by the next 15 years Atlanta's going to catch New York, and it's going to surpass Los Angeles also. So right now Los Angeles is number one, of course, but Hollywood might have to go to Atlanta because Atlanta is actually catching up. Buckhead. So weird name, huh? Well, it's actually the name of a neighborhood, and it's like a huge like mecca, and they got to thank this like unusual name to this guy named Henry Irby, who actually shot a deer, like a really large deer, and he like took the head and he put it on his like wall, and he literally named it the Buckhead. So that kind of caught on, and that area is basically the Buckhead. So it's super popular, and if you're in Atlanta, make sure you guys go check out the Buckhead because it's probably like the most popular place. And if you want to get a true Atlanta feel when you're there, definitely going to the Buckhead is going to help you out a lot. Bank of America, which is 1,200 feet tall. Kind of crazy, right? Well, the third largest building in America is actually in Atlanta. It's 1,023 feet tall. Bank of America Plaza, which is in Atlanta. So going to Atlanta, make sure you guys go to Bank of America Plaza. It's great there. It's gonna be really crowded, so book ahead. Most of the places in Atlanta, make sure you guys book ahead and you actually like stay on top of like where you're going, how you're going, time management. Because going to Atlanta is really busy, and these are like some of the spots that I'm mentioning here that you guys should definitely check out. So if you're going on like a short time frame, going to this one, Bank of America Plaza, is super important. Take some pictures and add them to your wall. Number 10 is that Atlanta is the largest holder of the Fortune 500 companies. There's a business fact, and if a lot of you guys might not know this one, but Atlanta's definitely Atlanta's the third largest. That was just like a fun fact that I just wanted to throw in there. If you guys knew it, great. If you didn't, research more about it on Google and stuff. And make sure you guys
like the video, share the video, and subscribe.
Yeah, make sure you guys do that. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys learned a lot. Visit Atlanta. It's actually a really great place. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.